honestly surprised I'm doing another so soon. But hey, I'm on break from school and the weather is just so lovely out. Time for some fun. Hey everyone, I'm Shishi, here to present another First Impressions video. This time, we're diving into the more obscure, at least for me, since today's topic is a franchise that I really don't know anything about. Rune Factory 2. If you guys haven't watched the first video of my First Impressions, well, thoughts and opinions of something new to me. Let's go. Rune Factory 2. What do you guys think it is? For me, when I hear the name, my brain shuts off. At least with Dynasty Warriors, you can assume ancient fighting and get close on the gaming genre. When you hear Rune, you think magic, fantasy, mystical adventure. Factory, well, manual labor. Real life. Oh, you know what? Never mind. Why? Because this is apparently a fantasy-based real-life simulator. Matter of fact, underneath the title of the startup screen, it does actually say a fantasy Harvest Moon. See? Yeah, people. This is your Animal Crossing, your Harvest Moon, your Stardew Valley. Huh. Maybe I should start with that one first. Anyways, I gotta be honest. I'm familiar with the genre, but I'm not a total fan. No. Don't bring out the pitchforks. Please don't. It's not a bad genre, but unlike other games, I tend to struggle more with the real-life simulators and open-world do-whatever-you-want based games. I like structure. I like goals. I like a good story. And though there are goals and structure found in a lot of these games, they usually don't grip me in the way an RPG does, where there could be the same exact set of activities, jobs, and fetch quests. I feel like I'm working towards something more. There's an ending to RPGs, and I'm doing more than just tending to a farm. Plus, I need to feel attachment to these characters. Be honest, pretending to be myself as I get insulted or yelled at kills the immersion. If anything, I feel PTSD relapse from one of my jobs. I will say I like the GameCube and Switch Animal Crossing games. The GameCube game more, though that could definitely be due to the nostalgic rose-tinted lenses I'm wearing. But after I completed the goal of paying off my debts to good old Tom Nook, that motivation and passion to work hard waned. Decorated my house, talked to all the neighbors I gave a hoot about, caused many fish and bugs as the next survivalist, but that was it. And the Switch was even less time! I originally only got the game because of my cousin years ago, and though she and I see each other a good several times a year, neither of us have really gotten together to play it. The struggles of being a working adult. But that was really all I was worried about when I got the game. So now I just play it once in a blue moon. Speaking of moon... Gonna be real. I've never played Harvest Moon. Ever. I remember so many times, though, when I wanted to try it as a kid. But there was always one of three scenarios that always kept me away from it. It was never at the store, it was too pricey, or it didn't feature the option to be a girl. Look, as a kid, I used to make mud baths, I used to fish, make potions out of the stuff in my parents' yard, and bash stones for their pretty sparkly insides. Hello! Protagonist right here. But in most of the games back then, I always had to be a guy, which wasn't exactly a problem. But again, if I wanted to be pretending to be a farmer, I wanted to be me, or at the very least be my gender. Now I am aware that Stardew Valley does do genders and all of my other complaints, but I'm gonna be snooty here. Sorry in advance, but I don't like the art style. I know several people who, if they hear this, will mince me before throwing me into their garden as fertilizer, but I can't get past it. No pitchforks! Stop it, please! Time to actually talk about Rune Factory 2. Get out of the way. No, I've never played any of the games in the franchise until now. I've seen the titles on Steam and online, but I didn't really know anything about it. Just from playing it, though, looks like each game has its own little story. Kind of like the Dragon Quest series, where regardless of the number next to it, it's its own thing. Could be totally wrong, but I honestly don't know. This game kind of just fell into my lap and I played it blind. So, right off the bat, this game speaks differently to me than the others. For starters, you get that RPG pixel art style that I just love. And then, when you get to the opening screen, you see this lovely little intro. Very nice music, with an opening that shows what the game would look like as an anime. Is there an actual anime? Please tell me in the comments, I'm very interested. Very appealing. But my biggest attraction was seeing the two characters in that little animation. One of them was a girl. So naturally, I was so excited. I get to be a girl and I get to go and... No, I don't. Yeah, no, I don't get to be a girl in this. Instead, I get to be the other character, this very nice red-haired amnesiac boy, which honestly I don't mind. He looks cool, but is weird and a pushover. Seriously, the guy is there not even 5 minutes. We know nothing about him other than the name that we get to pick out, and he's just bullied into owning a farm after nearly being threatened by this macho man. To be fair, I can't blame the poor guy considering how buff Mr. Macho is. I'd be terrified too. So, naturally, after getting the farm, I say, screw the farming, let's explore. I meet each and every single character I could find. Some were lovely. Some were there. And some I had very mixed feelings about. And then I ran into a problem. I realized I have no idea how to play. Animal Crossing didn't train me for this, and everything is weird on the Steam Deck, so I'm constantly clicking the wrong buttons. But thankfully, Mana, the angel, is there to guide my lost soul. Honestly, it's the least she could do for more or less being the reason I'm now trapped as the life of a farmer. Who is broke, may I say. No money for seeds or food. So much as lifting a hoe or dumping a pitcher of water on someone's head exhausts me. And if I don't have money for food or farming, I definitely don't have money for a cool weapon, medicine, or a trip to the hot bath. This sucks. Or so I thought. I was going to waste several weeks of in-game days trying to work my way up. When Mana came to my rescue. The angel, we are calling her an angel because she is an angel because I need something angelic in my life, introduces me to the bulletin board. Apparently, people in this town are either too busy, too lazy, or too incompetent to get things done. So who better than the new sucker that they've bullied into living here to do all of their new and old errands? Some takeaway lessons for me if you ever decide to play this. First, do not spend any, and I repeat, any weapons at the stupid shop as soon as you get the big bucks. Why? Because certain quests, which require going into the wild, monster-infested areas, will have the people give you tools for free, which, of course, are also weapons. You know, for example, hammers and axes. You know, the stuff I just freaking spent like 3,000 gold on that won't even get rid of the stones and stuff in my garden. But of course, the less fancy free ones will do it no problem. Yeah, great. Also, be prepared to play hide and seek while backtracking. Oh, the backtracking. Thanks to the bulletin board, that title of errand boy is branded on you, as you are literally running all over town and in the monster-filled areas multiple times. Thankfully, the areas are small, which you don't need to fast travel mechanic for, but it's finding the people that are the problem. When you pick a quest, you have to go and find the person who put up the quest and then talk to them to get things going. From what I can tell, depending on the day, yes, you get to have a clock to obey at every minute of your life, with open and closed hours of all the buildings in town. Why do I have to get up at 6, 7 in the morning when most of the places don't open till 9? No, I said I wanted immersion, but this is hitting a bit too close to home. At our time, yeah, depending on the time and the weather, people will be in certain places. Do I find them? No, of course not. I cough up a 20 gold coin to the fortune teller who tells me where they are if I take more than 5 minutes. Without relief, it doesn't last long, let me tell you. Next problem comes after finding the person. Some will tell you to get them stuff, deliver this to another person because they left it there, or kill this many monsters so you don't die a weakling, etc., etc. But you need to talk to them before anything else. And I'm serious. Talk to them. I remember one of the quests I did early in the game. This guy wanted a gem, which at the time I had it in my inventory. In fact, I had two. But I learned that if you don't click on the item first in your inventory to split it up, because you can have up to 9 items per slot, you just end up giving the person all of your items or tossing it out in the bulk. So what happened was I gave it to the man, realized I screwed up when he didn't talk to me or give me my reward, spoke to him, setting up the quest, and then when I went into my inventory, oops, no item. I had to cancel the quest because I only get to do one quest a day, which really bothers me since I'm a multitasking workaholic. Went back to where I remembered where the gems were in the island. And thankfully, I managed to find one. Only one. Thank God he didn't ask for 2. And went and restarted it. Got my lovely reward, which honestly wasn't much, but he did it. My bad. My fault. Moving on. Energy bar. In the game, you got 2 bars. One is your overall health, where if it goes down to 0, you pass out, wake up in your bedroom, wasting a day, and you just question what happened. But we don't talk about what happened, because it didn't happen. Never happens. The second bar is your energy bar. It kind of works like action points, where basically doing manual labor, like swinging a sword, smashing things with a hoe, or, dumping water from your water pitcher onto somebody's head, will drain that bar. Once it goes down to 0, you then start losing health points, to of which you then either need to do one of 3 things. You either go to bed, which wastes a day. As much as the bed is nice and comfy, I want to do things. You go to a really nice fancy bathhouse to which you gotta spend money on. Or you deal with it, toughening it out, while gobbling whatever it is in your garden or in your inventory to keep your health gauge up. 2 of which you will continue that until you're frustrated and then submit yourself to one of the other 2 options. I'll bet a very sparkly penny that all of you thought I was going to hate this game, since all I've done is complain for what feels like the last 20 minutes. Personally, no, I don't hate it. In fact, it is going to be one of my newer addictions to enjoy for a while. Harvest Mooners! Animal Crossers! Stardew Valleyers! I finally get it now! No, I don't, but again, I'm shocked. I was expecting to throw it on the shelf where it would collect dust for the rest of the days to come, but I'm not. And I'll tell you why. Because all of the complaints I just went on about, they're minor inconveniences that don't break the game. It doesn't screw you over to where you have to start over. Personally, though, I want to start over so, I can make better decisions faster, get that money a bit faster so I can get to that pretty little barn. We'll talk about that in a second, but just keep that in your head for a minute. And oh yeah, there's multiple save states, so unlike in Pokemon, I don't have to restart and lose everything that I held dear to my heart. Continuing on to my argument. You still get money. The items that you're given from the people, as far as I can tell, don't break and are used to get you started on those other skills. Smashing rocks, cooking, fishing. And your energy bar grows the more you do that activity. People aren't static, but they don't disappear to where you can never find them. Like I said, there's a fortune teller that you can pay a tiny fee for, to which she'll tell you where they are. But you're more or less just not being smart or observant and actually looking for the person you're looking for. I don't know how many times I went searching around town, went to every single building, found the fortune teller when I was fed up with it, only for them to tell me where, and they were really just sitting there the whole time, and I just never realized it. Again, my flounder. Whoopsies. And items spawn decently in the areas, or you could easily just wait a day, do a different quest, and the next day when that item spawns or you got the money that you need, you could move on your merry way. There's no consequences for the quests. They don't get mad at you or anything, which is nice. And then the the monster areas, well, they're not tough. They are tough, especially when there's more than one, but it's doable with the magic and weapons. And again, you get stronger, you get better. Get that nice little flair of RPG that I desperately wanted. So, there's that. But despite my fumbles, my inexperience, I managed to make progress with those setbacks. I got stronger. I now have a decent pool of items that I am now hoarding, since based on the dialogue I have analyzed, there's crafting, weapons, and armor making in this game. There's cooking, which I already mentioned, but as soon as I get that barn, I get monsters. I get to tame them, and there are some sheep in that forest with their names on my clipping shears. I'm going hunting, baby. No joke, my first Impressions playthrough was literally 4 hours straight of playing this game. At night, when I knew I had work the next day. It was like 1:30 in the morning when I looked at the real clock, cursed, shut it off after saving, and scrambled to bed. And now as of writing this, I want to play. My fingers are twitching towards the game. And my brain is reminding me of all the other important stuff I need to do, all of the mundane yet vital chores and errands that need to get done. But every other part of me is saying Play, play. Thankfully, or unfortunately, my brain's the one that's calling the shots, so the game is on hold. But still, a compromise can be made since I'm now typing the script for this video. Right? Here we are. Now, all my gripes are still prevalent, especially if you're someone who has never really played a game like this before, or who really doesn't have a lot of time to invest into it. It can be frustrating when you make a mistake, or when you let time count down to just talk somebody, get things rolling. But it's a very pretty world that once you can get used to, get invested in, it's enjoyable. There's magic, there's weapons, good music, and some very pretty faces with some good personalities. What's not to like? All I need is that barn, and I can finally have my little happy What? Huh? What do you mean there's romance options? Guys, I gotta go. As always, thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and yeah, that's it. Ciao for now!